One quiet night, somewhere in the vast desert of the American Southwest, a group of military personnel stationed near Navajo territory had an encounter they'll never forget. The air was still, the night almost too quiet, until a strange figure appeared just outside their camp. At first, they thought it might be a coyote, but as it came closer, they realized this was something else entirely. It walked on two legs, moving in a way that was almost human, yet unsettlingly different. They watched, frozen, as the figure drew near, its eyes glowing eerily in the darkness. And then, without warning, it bolted away at an impossible speed, vanishing into the night. No one could explain what they saw, but they all knew one thing. It wasn't anything natural. Out here, where the wind whispers through the rocks and the night feels a little too still, there's a story that people don't like to talk about. It's one of those things that creeps into your mind when the sun dips below the horizon and the shadows start to stretch. The Navajo have a word for it: Skinwalker. To the Navajo, skinwalkers aren't just legends. They're something much more real, something you don't mention unless you have to. And the stories, well, they're enough to make you think twice about stepping outside after dark. Skinwalkers are more than just tales whispered in the dark. They're a part of a history and a fear that runs deep in the Navajo Nation. What are they? Where do these stories come from? And what happens when you come face to face with one? Skinwalkers. Just hearing the name is enough to send a chill down your spine. But what exactly are they? In Navajo culture, skinwalkers are known as Yi Nald Lushi, which roughly translates to, with it, he goes on all fours. But that doesn't quite capture the full terror of what these beings are believed to be. Skinwalkers are said to be witches or evil shamans who have gained the ability to transform, or rather, to take on the form of an animal. But it's not just about shape-shifting. They're believed to have the power to mimic voices, control the weather, and even invade your mind. And they're not just any animal. They can become the most feared creatures in the wild, from wolves to coyotes, all while retaining their dark human intelligence. But their powers don't end there. Skinwalkers are also said to have the ability to possess the bodies of others, to curse their enemies with sickness and death, and to move at incredible speeds. They're the kind of thing you don't want to think about when you're alone at night, because the more you know, the more real they seem. For the Navajo, skinwalkers are more than just legends. They're a very real part of their history and their world. The fear of skinwalkers is so deeply ingrained that even talking about them is considered dangerous. It's said that to speak of them is to draw their attention, and that's the last thing anyone wants. So what makes someone become a skinwalker? According to legend, it's a choice, a dark path taken by those who seek power through evil means, by committing the most taboo of acts, like murder, especially of a family member. They gain the ability to transform. But this power comes with a price, and the result is a creature that's neither fully human nor fully animal, but something far more terrifying. Once you understand what a skinwalker is, you will be able to grasp why these stories have persisted for so long. They're not just tales. They're warnings passed down through generations about the dangers of power, the darkness that can reside in us all, and the price of crossing certain lines. Now that you know what a skinwalker is, it's time to hear some of the stories. Real encounters that have been shared by those who've come face to face with these terrifying beings. These aren't just legends. They're the kind of experiences that leave a mark, lingering long after the encounter is over. There's a story about a Navajo family living in a remote area, far from any neighbors. One night, as they were settling in for bed, they heard something or someone moving outside. At first they thought it might be an animal, but then came the scratching at the windows, the sound of something or someone trying to get in. The father grabbed a rifle and went outside, but what he saw made his blood run cold. Standing just beyond the light of his porch was a figure, tall, thin, and wearing the skin of a coyote. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural light. He fired a shot, and in an instant the figure disappeared, leaving nothing but the echo of the gunshot and the fading sound of footsteps running away. They never saw it again, but the family moved shortly after, too terrified to stay. Another story comes from a young man driving home late one night on a deserted road near the reservation. The night was clear, the road empty, when suddenly he saw something in his rearview mirror. A pair of eyes, glowing bright, keeping pace with his car. He pressed the gas, but the eyes stayed with him, moving faster than any animal could. Finally, he reached a bend in the road and turned sharply, hoping to lose whatever was following him. When he looked back, the eyes were gone, but his heart was racing. He never told anyone what he saw, but he made sure never to drive that road alone at night again. A group of friends decided to camp out near an old abandoned settlement one night, curious about the stories they'd heard. They set up their tents, lit a fire, and started telling ghost stories to pass the time. But as the night wore on, they started to feel uneasy, like they were being watched. One of them swore they saw something moving in the distance, something that looked like a man, but wasn't quite right. As they stared into the darkness, the figure began to move closer, its form shifting and changing, becoming something that sent a chill through the entire group. Without a word, they grabbed their things and left, not stopping until they were miles away. They never spoke about it again, but none of them ever went back to that spot. These are just a few of the stories that have been passed down, shared in hushed tones among those who have experienced the unexplainable. Each one different, but with the same undercurrent of fear, of something out there that doesn't belong, something that's always just on the edge of your vision, waiting for you to let your guard down. Talking about skinwalkers isn't something people do lightly. It's said that even mentioning them can draw their attention, and that's a risk most aren't willing to take. For many, it's not just about fear of the unknown. It's about the very real presence of these beings in their world. Even today, the fear runs deep. These stories aren't just passed down for fun. They're a way of teaching respect and caution, a reminder of the consequences of wandering too far into the dark. For the Navajo, skinwalkers aren't just tales. They're a warning, a reminder that some things are better left untouched. And even in the modern world, that fear lingers, passed down through generations, keeping people close to the light and away from the shadows. It's not just the Navajo who've had experiences with skinwalkers. Over the years, countless people, from visitors passing through to military personnel stationed nearby, have reported strange, unsettling encounters that defy explanation. They talk about hearing voices that shouldn't be there, seeing figures that move too quickly, too unnaturally, or feeling the intense, undeniable sensation of being watched. Some soldiers stationed near Navajo land tell stories of seeing something in the distance, something that looked human at first, until it moved, running faster than any person or animal they'd ever seen. Others talk about hearing strange noises outside their camps, voices calling out to them in the night, only to find no one there when they investigated. Visitors to the area have shared similar tales of seeing shadowy figures at the edge of their vision, or feeling a presence close by, only for it to disappear the moment they turned around. These aren't just stories told around a campfire. They're real experiences, ones that leave people questioning what they've seen and what might be lurking out there in the dark. So what is it that so many have encountered out here? Are these just tricks of the mind, born from fear and isolation? Or is there something more to these stories? Something that's been waiting in the shadows, watching for longer than any of us can imagine? If you've made it this far, you're probably as intrigued by these tales as I am. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you've had your own encounters, or just want to share your thoughts, leave a comment below. Who knows what might be waiting to be discovered in the stories we tell. And as you close your eyes tonight, just remember, the desert is vast, the shadows long, and not everything that watches from the dark is content to stay hidden. Sleep well, if you can. Good night.